Hello, I'm Jan Regan, and this is the Environmental Television Network. There's lots to reveal about what's going on in the world's environment today. According to the latest study on global carbon dioxide emissions, human activities have pushed the output in 2017 to 45 billion tons. The study was conducted by lead researcher Karine Lecaire of the Tyndall Center for Climate Change Research in Oslo, Norway. The long-term study had thought that CO2 emissions were peaked in 2016, but the new studies show emissions are going up dramatically. The team was very disappointed and believes time is running out to keep global warming well below 2 degrees centigrade. The emissions found coal, gas, and oil were the culprits, and China, the United States, Russia, India, and Japan the main contributors. Global levels of carbon pollution have skyrocketed in recent decades. 60 years ago, the world emitted 9.2 billion tons per year. Now, on average, 2.57 million pounds of carbon dioxide is emitted into the air every second. Don't breathe deep in the gathering gloom. Aurora, Colorado developer Carlo Ferreira rolled out his grand vision for Aurora Highlands community, building 23,000 homes, which could hold 60,000 residents near the Denver International Airport. The undeveloped land is dotted with oil and gas wells, which Ferreira thought he could avoid. But when gas leaking from a well fueled a blast last April that destroyed a home and killed 2 people, the issue took on a new urgency for the developer. Now, he's pushing for a plan that will give more separation between homes and gas and oil wells. Predictably, the major driller in the area, ConocoPhillips, isn't going for it. Conoco claims their wells are sufficiently far enough away as to not impact housing development. What they're not disclosing is what's happening underground. The wells can reach out laterally underground a quarter of a mile, making anything above them potential hazards. As drilling pushes closer to development areas, disputes between communities and producers have flared up all around the Denver metro area. The industry has poured big money on ad campaigns touting the safety of their operations. Not so quick, says many of the local communities. Voting against drilling is starting to change the landscape. As for Carlo Ferreira, he is fighting back, demanding the removal of certain sites from his land. People just don't feel safe living near drilling sites, says Ferreira. This is a major battle in the country between the people and big oil. ETN suggests the people stand their ground and fight for what is safe for their community. It looks like things are heating up in the U.S. Department of Energy. The Trump administration is considering ordering the department to be ready to conduct short-notice nuclear tests as little as 6 months. This would be the first test since 1992 and would violate the nuclear test ban treaty with Russia. Time magazine reports an official for the National Nuclear Security Administration said such a test would be conducted for political purposes. The point this and other sources say is to put on notice Russian President Vladimir Putin, North Korea's Kim Jong-un, Iran's Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and other adversaries what they are up against. The Trump administration is convinced that the best way to limit the spread of nuclear danger is to expand and advertise its ability to annihilate its enemies. Trump has signed off on a $1.2 trillion plan to overhaul the entire nuclear weapon complex. In the plan is a new nuclear warhead, the first in 34 years. This warhead is to be mounted on a mobile medium-range missile. This action by the Trump administration pushes the doomsday clock maintained by the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists 30 seconds forward. This is the closest doomsday has loomed since 1953. Cape Town, South Africa is in the throes of a years-long drought that could earn it a truly alarming distinction, the first major city in the developed world to run out of water. The 6 major dams that supply Cape Town's water have dropped to 15% capacity of usable water, according to the Los Angeles Times. Climate change worsens drought because as temperatures rise, evaporation increases. When this evaporation happens over land, soils dry out. When rains do come, much of the water runs off the hard ground and is carried back to the ocean before it can be fully replenished in dams. All of Cape Town citizens are feeling the impact of the drought, but the city's lower income residents are the ones hardest hit. When this city of more than 4 million people runs out of water on April 21st, as many are predicting, their plight will become truly desperate. With each new natural disaster, the truth becomes clearer. The most vulnerable among us are on the front lines of a crisis and had little to do with creating it. If we don't act now to support solutions for climate change, we may reach a point of no return. That's our broadcast for today. I'm Jan Regan, and be sure to watch ETN for more coverage on what's happening in our environment. And be sure to watch The Greenhouse Chef coming to your kitchen soon here on ETN.